Welcome to the Leaders Talk segment by the CSR Universe, where we delve into the heart of corporate social responsibility and sustainability. Today, we have the distinct privilege of speaking with two key leaders from Tata Consumer Products, a company deeply committed to creating a positive impact on both the planet and its communities. From reducing emissions and achieving zero waste to empowering local communities and fostering an inclusive workforce, Tata Consumer Products is setting a powerful example. Joining us are Mr. Vishwa Bandhu Bhattacharya, Director of Sustainability, and Ms. Snigdha Singh, Vice President of Human Resources at Tata Consumer Products. Mr. Bhattacharya brings over 16 years of experience in corporate responsibility, climate mitigation, and ESG strategies, and has been recognized as one of India's top 20 sustainability champions in 2022. He leads the company's vision for sustainable business practices, ensuring alignment with the principles of triple bottom line. And Ms. Snigdha Singh spearheads initiatives to strengthen organizational culture and drive impactful CSR programs under the For Better Communities pillar, touching over 1.2 million lives through efforts in affordable healthcare, skill development, and inclusivity. And today, in this conversation, Dr. Shweta Singh and I will explore Tata Consumer Products' ambitious sustainability strategy, their key initiatives from carbon neutrality to zero waste to sustainable packaging, and we will also uncover how they are fostering inclusivity and engaging stakeholders to drive meaningful change. Hearty welcome to both of you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me over here. Pleasure.
Thank you. So I will hand over the mic to my colleague, Dr. Shweta, who can start the conversation with the questions for Mr. Vishwa Bandhu Bhattacharya.
Thank you, Mr. Bhattacharya. Thank you for joining us. I have read so much about Tata Consumer Products and their initiatives, their reports on sustainability, and a company of the size of Tata Consumer Products. I mean, what is the strategy? What is the sustainability vision and strategy that binds all your initiatives together? Could you give us a peek into that? And what is your approach to sustainability and ESG? How are you going about it?
Thank you so much, Shweta, for having me on the show. We are very delighted to be a part of this. At Tata Consumer, we call our sustainability strategy as For Better Living. We are a food and beverage focused company, so nutrition comes at the core. And there are technically 4 pillars on which we base our ESG strategy: for better nutrition, for better sourcing, for better planet, and of course, being a Tata company, for better communities also. Primarily, this cross-cuts the entire spectrum of work that we do and the entire cross-section of stakeholders that we interact on a day-to-day basis. The company came into existence in 2020, and within first 1.5 year, we came out with our public commitments for the long term FY30, FY40. We are committed to become net zero by FY40, and we also have committed to become water neutral by FY30. We have also declared that by FY30 we'll touch 2 million beneficiaries to our CSR work, which of course Snigdha will talk about when she interacts. Apart from that, we also took up areas of better sourcing, which becomes a key area for FMCG from a materiality perspective, and of course nutrition, because we are a FMB company. So broadly, if we talk from a strategy lens, we have a 3C approach on sustainability, which talks about building consciousness at the bottommost pillar, and that talks about doing a lot of detailed and thematic risk assessments around our key material topics. So we have already completed TCFD for our company across globally. We have done a very focused water risk assessment because we are a water-based industry. We keep doing our impact assessments at a part of our CSR mandate, and we also have completed our sustainability and supply chain assessment as well. These not only bring out the hotspots where we need to focus on from a materiality lens, we sometimes also bring in a lot of areas of strength. And that is the second C, which is consolidation. So wherever we have got an obvious strength, we try to consolidate on that. For example, as a company, almost more than 40% of our energy demand is coming from green sources. We have committed to have at least 35% of our total power demand coming from solar or likewise renewable energy by FY26. And we have not only committed, we are trying to also give our customers and our stakeholders a peep into every year how we are tracking those. The last part is on communication. Today, as you see, sustainability, the annual reporting has become very one kind of activity that happens annually. But the stakeholders want to know about the sustainability practices for the group on a very more regular basis. Hence, communicating to our stakeholders and also giving them the information that they need is the most important part. So, apart from our annual reporting and our BRSR mandate, because we are a listed entity, we also participate in other forums like CDP, DJSI, MSCI, Sustainalytics. And so these are other forums by which we keep our stakeholders well informed about how we are actioning sustainability on a day-to-day basis. So that's broadly sustainability as we practice it in Tata Consumer.
So, because see, you're an FMCG company, so waste management, circularity, packaging, these aspects automatically take center stage. So, could you shed some light on those aspects? How are you managing the aspects of circularity and waste reduction or management?
Certainly. So within For Better Planet, as a part of the Tata Group, there is a Alingana commitment that all Tata Group companies have made, of which TCPL is a part as well. And within that, we have called out that we will become carbon neutral on Scope 1, Scope 2 by FY26 and have at least 70% of our entire packaging to be recyclable across geographies. While this year we have become Scope 1 and Scope 2 neutral. So our circularity strategy essentially has three broad pillars. One, of course, is to the EPR mandate, which is a compliance requirement, and to follow the rule of the law everywhere we operate. The second is to make packaging which is fit for the environment. So either it's recyclable packaging, for which we have taken public targets. But apart from this, we also go into a differentiator mode, which is the front of gate approach. So where we do design engineering so that we can make packaging way less. And because of that, we actually don't let even plastic get introduced into the stream. For example, the Tata 1 kg salt pouch that I'm sure is available in your kitchens also has been re-engineered to weigh 11% less. So by virtue of that, we actually save around 200 tons of plastic being introduced into the stream annually. Similarly, our Eagles Cliff plant in the UK, from where our iconic Tetley tea bags come out, have taken plastic completely out of the shrink wrap up to the tea bag as well. And from that process also, we have consciously removed plastic getting introduced. In fact, we even make multi-pound investment to change lines so that we can produce that kind of plastic-free tea bag and the shrink wrap-free packaging as well. The third, of course, is then engaging with peers. So we are members of the Plastic Pacts in India, UK, Canada. In fact, we are founding members in India as well. So through these, collaborative platforms, we try to see how we can leapfrog technology. So within these three broad guardrails, we have been practicing circularity, and and we have taken public commitments around having packaging which is recyclable. Zero waste to landfill is another commitment that we have made. In fact, our beverage units worldwide are zero waste to landfill, and we are looking at getting the others also quickly aligned to this by FY26.
Wonderful. I also came across Project Jalodhari. Is that how it's pronounced? Because I've read about it. Yes.
Yeah.
So could you tell about that, and also the major water conservation efforts that you have in the company going on?
Sure. Let me just explain the water sustainability part, and then I'll hand over to Snigdha to talk more in details about the conservation and the CSR part. So in terms of water, we understand that water is a very critical resource for us because we use water, and water is also in our product because we are also in the bottled water industry as well. So very consciously, we see that how we can use water at the best efficient possibility. and that's within the fence. So we do a lot of these improvement programs. We see that the efficiency of water use per product is maintained at the industry best level. In fact, our Himalayan water plant, which is in the Himachal Pradesh, has been declared water neutral because it has got one of the best industry rankings on efficiency. Plus, the area also we have made neutral through our work on Jalodhari. So, Snigdha, why don't you brief on the water conservation part which you're leading with your team?
I just had one question before Snigdha begins.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just one question that, I'm sure the journey wouldn't have been without challenges. So it'll be great if you could share any kind of challenges that you faced, whether it be operational issues or policy related issues, any hurdles in that, and how you overcame that. And if you could share some key learnings, that can serve as valuable insights for our listeners, especially this sector, which is aiming to drive similar sustainability efforts.
So on water, we have a three-pronged strategy, and the first one is to understand where the footprint is and how well you are aligned to usage, and that we did through a very detailed water risk assessments, which had taken up best practices from CDSB, from GRI, from CDP, from DJSI, which are available internationally for usage, and we have been able to delineate very clearly from a physical and transition perspective, being a water-based industry, where we want to grow and how best we can do in tandem with the nature. The second part is, of course, driving efficiency in terms of capacity building for people, and also looking at best practices and technologies which can ensure that we use water in the most prudent format. And third, of course, is then, of course, there's a conservation angle to it, which Snigdha and her teams lead, and it creates a 360-degree approach. And the last part, of course, is looking at, peer-to-peer learning, which again, I believe become very important because sustainability cannot be practiced in silo, whether within the fence or outside the fence. Hence, these learnings are critical. And that is the way we have been, focusing on water sustainability as a key part of our sustainability strategy.
Yes, Snigdha, we have your perspective on the conservation efforts and the overall CSR goal and what strategies and initiatives are going on.
Sure. I'll start with the water project Jalodhari that Shweta specifically asked for. So like Vishwa mentioned, we recognize that it's our responsibility to address this issue, and obviously all the efforts that we make are not enough given the extent of the problem. In 2019, we launched Project Jalodhari in collaboration with the Tata Trusts and our execution partners, one Himothan in Himachal Pradesh and CML in Assam. These are two places where the idea of the project was to create sustainable water sources, also raise awareness, and then build our capacities on water and sanitation within the communities. So when we started this initiative, we brought in our NGO partners, and I'll talk later about how we generally go around this entire space of bringing in our partners and ensuring implementation. Specifically here, we focused on recharging underground water by capturing the rainwater through various methods: trenches, recharge ponds, loose boulder check dams, trenches of contours, etc. To date, approximately 104 million liters of groundwater we've recharged annually in the local aquifer system. And additionally, we have installed water filters in 10 plus schools. We've built around 60 plus sanitation units and also planted around 20,000 plus plants in that vicinity. From the impact point of view, around 7,500 people in Himachal Pradesh have benefited from that. And almost 96% of the families, when we did our impact assessment, came back and said they have reported an increase in greenery, they have felt the environment getting better. And then, of course, the formal impact assessment also tells us that we've seen a water level rise of 1 to 2 feet. In Assam, the problem was slightly different in the Jorhat area, where the water content had a lot of iron in it. And there we had to install iron removal plants because generally, because of the quality of the waterborne diseases were rampant in that area, and people were undergoing a lot of diseases. Of course, it leads to a lot of challenges in the household in terms of somebody falling ill, losing income, losing money on medication, etc. So there we introduced these iron removal plants, then we introduced Tata Swatch filters, and then of course did a lot of awareness around it. Overall, happy to report around 3,000 households there were benefited by this. And beyond that, 100% of our beneficiaries mentioned that there's an improvement in the water quality and almost no waterborne diseases that they could see once at least this was taken care for the area. Now, building on these successes and learnings, we are looking at now expanding Project Jalodhari to 4 new locations, which we've already kickstarted. And as we move forward, hopefully we will see results in those areas as well. We have partnered with technology and industry leaders who are now giving us a more scientific approach using better technology tools to do a lot of scoping, and then obviously doing the baseline surveys so that we can make a meaningful impact in the areas that we want to bring in Project Jalodhari, and then of course help the communities in that area. One of the major things that we have been focusing on all these interventions is that groundwater recharge is one of the major focuses, but we also want to ensure that we're increasing the soil moisture, that the water use efficiency is being taken care of. And obviously in this process, you help and enhance the incomes of the rural farmers and help security for the local communities.
I can see a lot of customized solutions that you are bringing across the table, and I believe the same has been extended to your CSR initiatives as well. So can you throw some light on the current CSR initiatives that the company has undertaken, and also if you could share some success stories of how you've changed or transformed lives?
Sure. So CSR is somewhere deeply embedded in the DNA of Tata Group. It does not really come as a part of it being a law, and that's a legacy that we are all kind of taking forward. I'll speak about a couple of initiatives which are long-standing and they have really made an impact in that entire area. One of them is Srishti, which was established in 1981 in Munnar. And Munnar has historically experienced high rate of children with abnormalities, want to migrant workers, and due to multiple kind of historical factors. Before Srishti's establishment, there was no viable treatment in Munnar for somebody who comes across with a different background. And hence the parents were also kind of restricted to confine the kids to the homes with no access to proper education or of course professional interventions, etc. were unheard of. That's where Srishti addressed this gap by providing a space, a special school, a vocational training institute to ensure that there are resources for the treatment and rehabilitation of children with disabilities. A lot of interactions with the parents, bringing in special educators, making the community members aware was one of the major things that Srishti undertook in the beginning and continues to do today. Now, of course, there's far more awareness, and these kids are now earning and a part of the vocational institutes that we are running. And they are now self-sufficient. They are able to, bring income to their families, and then, of course, also lead a normal life like other people around them. So Srishti has been one of those high-quality care, personalized instructions, and appropriate interventions, which has helped the entire community upgrade. And we have around 200 such children and adults that pretty much thrive in that area. And then, of course, they provide you the jams that you have in any of the Starbucks as one of the initiatives that they do. But they also do a lot of tie and dye making. They do a lot of paper making. So every time you pick up a Chroma bag or a Starbucks bag, it comes from the Srishti unit in Munnar. And that's the kind of effort and results that we are seeing by that group. And we're extremely proud of that. Similarly, another kind of story, which is in another part of the world, is in Upper Assam. It's called Referral Hospital Research Center, RHRC, which was established by Tata Tea in 1984. It's a 80-bed secondary care facility, and it operates on a non-profit basis in that area. It does not just cater to Assam, it caters to the neighboring states like Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh. It's an NABH accredited facility, and it brings in the best of the care for that area in obviously the most cost-effective manner. For just 1 year itself, you have more than 70,000 beneficiaries, of which 75% of them are from the general community, not just from our plantations. So there we are incredibly proud of the fact that we have brought in care and concern and the right doctors in a place where medical care was unheard of for years now, and the hospital continues to support all the critical cases and continues to be one of the major flagship programs for us in Upper Assam. So beyond Project Jalodhari, these are two programs that have been ongoing, as I mentioned, since years now, and we are extremely proud of them. But from a design standpoint, we ensure that any new initiative that we undertake, we sign detailed MOUs, we find implementation partners who are either verified by Tata Trust or at least are verified through our other benchmarking exercises, and then we do quarterly reviews with them. Each MOU has clear exit plans defined on how is it that they will make an impact on the community. We bring in third-party agencies at the end of the year who do the impact assessment, who then give us a detailed report on what is it that can be improved in those projects and what is it that has been done so far. And that's where we are happy to report the numbers that Vishwa has shared in terms of 1.5 million lives almost that we will look at by 2026. So now that we have integrated new entities and we keep expanding our fence with Organic India, Capital Foods, and Tata Coffee also a part of the larger entity, our work on CSR and the new projects have just gotten new homes, and we are very excited about how they will shape up over a couple of years from now.
Great to hear. I just wanted to know about the partnerships part, wherein if you could share, a success story with a partner who has amplified your efforts manifolds, and what kind of expertise did that partner bring to the table?
Okay, so we have multiple such partners for that matter. I just mentioned about Project Jalodhari, CML and Himotan.
Sure.
Amazing work, the way they have done the implementation. Similarly, Srishti, Swastha, all these initiatives also have partners on the ground. One specific example, if I were to take, would be with TCSRD, which is the Tata Chemicals arm, which does the on-the-ground impact work for us. And they are a 60+ strong team, which pretty much handle all the CSR initiatives in the Mithapur region in Gujarat. And we are proud partners with them. Again, in the major area of rural development, they not just look at partnership specifically just with the organization, but all their implementation is deeply rooted with the community. They appoint the community resource person at each of the locations. That person does the village level meetings with the farmers, the panchayat leaders. We do multiple engagement with the various departments, if it's with health, with agriculture, depending on who we have to engage with. We do these constant engagements. Community meetings also have some stake of all the community participants there to ensure that they feel ownership about the project that is designed and delivered. And all these NGOs that we find that actually run the implementation also have community resources who are identified and then trained amongst the locals itself, because that's the only way you will ensure that the project keeps continuing. And then after they are trained properly, we also ensure that we connect them with other similar partners in our channel for learning on best practices. We conduct workshops, get them together, and then of course reward them for bringing about positive changes in their area. And a lot of them had the privilege of being recognized at multiple forums, not just by us, but by the government agencies as well.
Is community feedback also a part of, the ongoing projects? Do you take them seriously? Do you incorporate them in your working?
Absolutely. So the first baseline assessment happens in the community itself. If let's say there is no need for a particular project in that vicinity, then we don't step in. Or if let's say this is something that the government is already picking up and there is no amplification that we'll be able to do, in that case we won't go ahead with the project. It's only when we feel that the community has the need, we have the buy-in from the local stakeholders, and we will be able to make a value add in a particular stipulated timeline. That is when our CSR board also approves for the project to go forward.
Okay, great, wonderful.
Yes, actually, this is a little apart from the questions that we had shared. We discussed this before the meeting. We came across this beautiful story from your coffee plantations, that there was some encroachment from wild elephants probably, and they were damaging the plantations. and you came up with a way to coexist with the elephants. I mean, could any of you can take the lead on this and tell us the story about, because we felt it was a beautiful story.
So biodiversity is very important element for us because we have Tata coffee plantations within our fold, spread across 27 plantation sites. The fact that we always talk about human-animal conflict, but we have molded that to talk about human-animal coexistence. In fact, while biodiversity risk assessments and all that we do as per a part of our general materiality assessment, for the human elephant corridor, we have actually got trained colleagues in Tata Coffee who are there to manage those situations, because the right of way lies with the elephant, not with us. That's the beauty of the story. And the fact that there are SOPs that govern how you have to manage in case you encounter an elephant within your way, and to ensure that they can peacefully leave that area, and they can manage their paths, because they're finding their path around those plantations. There are very detailed SOP which have existed now for, I think, quite a few number of years. Not new that we are doing it. And because of that, for many years, we also didn't realize that when we started being coexistently available with them. But the fact is that we have been practicing our coffee plantations over there, and they have also been there for those period of years. So somehow I think if we look at from a conflict angle, there is always that either or situation, but we have created that and situation over there, trying to peacefully coexist. And it has been so. And not only that, we have got a great study on honeybees also, because honeybees are one of the key indicators of ecosystem awareness. And from that perspective also, we have been rearing honey over there. And so that also becomes in an area of which is essentially a factory area. How do you really promote ecosystem diversity from that perspective? There are those case studies which are there. And I mean, these are really short stories that really fill our hearts with pride, that we have been able to been able to support those ecosystems, yet doing a business around that. So that's, I think, that rings that responsible business entity very well.
Short stories, but very impactful. Very, very impactful. That's wonderful to hear. So, Shweta, my last question, if you have any other question.
I also wanted, it was the same thing actually. I think you had the same question on mind, that what are the immediate priorities moving from here, both in the sustainability domain and in the CSR domain? So for this year or probably this quarter, what is occupying your mind space at the moment right now? What are your immediate priorities?
By quarter, you mean the last 4 months of the last 3 months of the year, I guess.
Yeah, no, going from here, probably for this year, what are the major aspects that you would be focusing on?
Yeah, I think one of them is, of course, climate, because climate change is something we have to deal. Climate change we deal on the day-in-day basis. While we have achieved scope 1, scope 2 neutrality, we will still focus on our short-term targets of achieving our renewable energy targets for for our power demand. We look for areas where we can invest in green fuel as well. In fact, we almost take 70 to 80% of our green tea waste in Munnar and use it back into biomass as well. So there's a conscious effort that we bring down from coal or fossil fuel to green fuel, or at least to clean fuel, if that is not possible. So those are going to continue. We will continue to have water as a key area of work for us, because we have got a neutrality target for 2030. But having said that, not only will we focus on conservation, which Snigdha and our team leads, we'll also see that how within the fence we use water to the best efficient way, which will of course lead to a larger impact from that perspective. Packaging remains an area of interest in FMCG, because we use a lot of packaging for our products. Having said that, we have committed to have 100% of our packaging recyclable by FY30, So we are working towards the target. Today we are at 62%. We have a first pit stop coming at FY26 for 70%. Those are being actioned upon. So with these priorities and of course keeping the biodiversity as a part of our constant goal for improvement, this is the flavor of the year that's going to come up from the sustainability side.
Snigdha, we'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, so like Vishwa rightly said, on the CSR side, absolutely the water projects are going to kind of keep us busy. The project Jalodhari expanding. On the culture side, I think as an organization, last year we had multiple integrations with new organizations joining us, and that brought in a huge element and responsibility on us to get inclusion going across the organization, and that's been a focus area for us. The diversity that we have in our product portfolio pretty much reflects in our customer portfolio, and we would like the same to reflect in our organization as well. So we have been making a lot of effort in terms of not just gender diversity, but focusing on how is it that we bring in age diversity, diversity of thoughts, people coming in from different parts of the country, the world, different businesses together. And there is a lot of effort that we are making on actively valuing different opinions, but still getting them on board and making everybody felt heard. Especially on the gender side, we continue to have our targets which are aggressive in nature, and while we have bits and pockets where we are extremely proud of our gender diversity efforts, our plantations are more than 60% women who pretty much bring that leaf to your cup, and then our R&D team is 44% women, which pretty much research every product that the household needs, and they understand it quite well. And similarly, we have our manufacturing units in Eagles Cliff, which is again almost more than 53% women in diversity, and production being led by women leaders. But we would constantly want to push the bill to bring these examples across the organization. And how is it that we ensure that we are bringing in the element of diversity, but then that happens in parallel with inclusiveness, such that everybody feels welcome to be a part of the organization, which is going to become a premier FMCG company from the house of Tata. So it comes with its own sense of pride, which is deep rooted in the societal consciousness that we have.
Now we're at the end of our time limit, and I know 30 minutes is never enough when we are covering a company of the scale of Tata Consumer. But it was a very enriching interview, and I'm glad we could cover both aspects, the sustainability and the social aspect. And I'm sure our listeners would get a lot of insights on how actually a company of this size and this performance can also coexist with, with its people, and also nurture the planet in the way. So all the best to both of you and to the whole team for the wonderful work that they are doing, not only in terms of the company progressing in terms of profit, but also with your social and sustainability efforts. So thank you for doing this interview with us, and we hope to see you again very soon.
Thank you for the opportunity.